Can you break down for us the long and winding journey that this travel ban has been on?
Well, that's right, Kilmany. We're currently in the third different version of this travel ban, which was originally the first version was brought in by the Trump administration via an executive order signed by President Trump all the way back in the first week of his administration back in January. Now, this third version of this travel ban had been partially blocked by several courts in the United States because of an issue over this whole concept of bona fide connections to the United States. Essentially, some federal courts here in the US partially blocked this third travel ban, saying that people who could prove a bona fide, a strong connection to somebody already in the United States would be exempt from this travel ban. What the US Supreme Court have just ruled in the last hour or so, announcing their ruling, they're now saying that this travel ban can now take effect in full. That exemption in terms of that bona fide connection will now be lifted, and this ban can now take effect in full, while some of those legal challenges are still working their way through the courts.
How big of a win is this for the Trump administration, given the challenges of the entire first year in office?
Well, this is certainly a major victory for the Trump administration. This ruling, as I was saying, it's still temporary, so there are still some legal challenges which will slowly work their way through the courts. Really, legal experts here in Washington reacting to this ruling by the US Supreme Court. They've been saying that this ruling, it was 7 Supreme Court justices to 2. They're saying that this indicates that really the US Supreme Court will eventually lift all exemptions onto this travel ban, and that will eventually take effect completely, not partially in any way. So it's certainly a major victory for the Trump administration. Reaction is still very much coming in, but I think in the coming hours we can expect to see a lot of condemnation of this decision by the US Supreme Court, by Democrats, for example, the opposition in the US Congress and Donald Trump's political opposition, as well as civil rights groups and civil liberties groups who've really condemned each and every version of this travel ban as and when it's come into effect.
Which kind of brings me to my next point, Giles, which is Chad, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Syria, Yemen. Why these countries?
Well, the Trump administration's argument overall is essentially that these countries don't have the visa processes, they don't have adequate vetting inside their airports, for example, and their visa processes to stop dangerous individuals, potentially dangerous individuals, traveling to the United States and then causing some sort of harm against American citizens. That's been the Trump administration's argument all along. We have seen some countries actually taken out of these travel bans. Sudan, for example, the United States ruled a few months ago that their processing, their vetting systems were sufficient to allow them to come off a later version of the travel ban, having been put on a previous one. Really, the critics of the Trump administration have said that this is not about vetting, this is not about processes, this is about religion. Of course, we saw Donald Trump make those very controversial comments when he was still a candidate running for the US presidency, talking about bringing in an entire Muslim ban. So that's been the criticism all along against the Trump administration, calling this a Muslim ban rather than a travel ban.